Good evening everyone and welcome to the 2020 Spirit of Fire Awards. I'm delighted that we're able to come together virtually today to recognise some of the incredible achievements of individuals and teams from across the fire services community. Spirit of Fire has always been a special occasion. It's an opportunity for us as a charity to say thank you and to recognise the incredible hard work and dedication you put in to supporting us. For you, meanwhile, it's a chance, however begrudgingly, to accept the recognition that you truly deserve. Something that I know doesn't come easily to many of you. This year, of course, things are different. The coronavirus pandemic has impacted every one of us. You, as key workers, have had to work at the front line, ensuring the safety of your local communities and supporting the work of your colleagues across the blue light services. For us, as your charity, meanwhile, we've had to innovate in order to support you digitally, and we've had to recognise new ways to raise income in the face of a devastating downturn in fundraising due to the cancellation of events. It's been tough for all of us, but as ever, the Firefighters charity continues to be there for you, and you continue to be there for us. So once again, thank you. In line with the digital innovation we've seen over the past few months, we've embraced the opportunity to take Spirit of Fire online this year, and I am delighted to say that we have a fantastic show lined up for you and a whole host of special guests to announce our very deserving nominees and winners. You can interact with the show tonight by commenting on the YouTube stream, on our Twitter and Facebook pages, or by using the hashtag #WithYouInSpirit on any social media channel you wish. So have a great evening, enjoy the show, and congratulations to all those of you nominated.
Good evening everyone and welcome to the Firefighters charity's first ever virtual Spirit of Fire Awards. My name is Kim Robson and I'm delighted to be your host tonight as we get ready to celebrate the achievements of some truly remarkable individuals. We have 14 awards in total tonight, 12 Spirit of Fire Awards and 2 Special Recognition Awards. And having had a sneak peek already, I can safely say that all of them feature some incredible stories of dedication, hard work and courage. I can also reveal that we've handed over presentation duties to some very special celebrity guests this evening, all of whom have given up their time for the Firefighters charity free of charge and out of their admiration for all that the fire services community does. And what a year it's been. As you've just heard from the chair of the Board of Trustees, the pandemic has had a huge impact on us all. So tonight, I ask you to put all the stresses and strains of 2020 to one side, to sit back, relax, and join us in applauding some brilliant people. Our first award of the evening is our Special Recognition Award for Excellence in the Field of Mental Health. And to announce our very deserving winner, I am honoured to be able to introduce to you His Royal Highness, the Duke of Cambridge.
Good evening. I'm delighted to be able to introduce the 2020 Spirit of Fire Awards. Last September, on 999 Day, I visited Harkham House and saw for myself the great work being done by the Firefighters charity to help support the physical and mental health of fire staff across the country. This year, the outbreak of COVID-19 has presented a unique challenge for all emergency responders. You have had to adapt to new ways of working whilst continuing to save lives and help those in need day in, day out. This is what makes the achievements that we are celebrating tonight all the more extraordinary. It is more important than ever that those on the front line know where they can turn to for support. The work of the Firefighters charity and all of the organisations who support our blue light services is central to ensuring the long-term health and well-being of our emergency responders. I'm therefore delighted to be able to announce the winner of tonight's first award. The Spirit of Fire Special Recognition Award for Excellence in the Field of Mental Health goes to Shilla Patel. Alongside her work as an inclusion manager at London Fire Brigade, Shilla launched the brigade's first mental health support network, United Minds, in March 2019. Aiming to reduce stigma and help staff access support, United Minds has gone from strength to strength under Shilla's leadership and now has over 200 members. Shilla received support from the Firefighters charity which allowed her to open up about her own mental health challenges. Since then, she's made it her mission to help her colleagues feel able to do the same. So, congratulations, Shilla. It is because of the dedication of people like you that we can continue to break down barriers and ensure that everybody receives the support they need. And to all of tonight's nominees and winners, thank you once again for all that you do.
Congratulations, Shilla. What a well-deserved award. Now, between each of our awards tonight, we've also got a series of films to show you, giving you an insight into the incredible breadth of work undertaken by the charity. All of our films were shot before the coronavirus pandemic, and our first of the evening is with Gloucestershire firefighter and Premiership rugby player Sasha, who suffered a shoulder injury that threatened to sideline her career.
Hi, I'm Sasha. I am a firefighter for Gloucestershire Fire and Rescue Service based at Cheltenham West, and I am a rugby player for Worcester Warriors. I've worked with the fire service. I started off as being a retained firefighter for Cinderford in Gloucestershire, and then I went through the interview process and became whole-time about 2 years ago now. Being able to have a job where you're part of such a community, I think I'm very lucky, super lucky. My shoulder injury, so the one that I had earlier this year, was playing Premiership rugby at this ground actually, and I ended up dislocating my left shoulder and I tore my rotator cuff. It stopped me from working and it stopped me from playing rugby, so that's kind of what spurred me on to do something. So I ended up walking 500 miles for charity from the most easterly point in mainland Great Britain to the most westerly point in mainland Great Britain. The reason that I chose to support the Firefighters charity was because I preempted that I would be using their services after my operation. I went to Marine Corps. Gym facilities are incredible. The programs that they set up with you with the hydrotherapy pool, then doing specific weight sessions. They also have psychological help. If you want to talk to people, then you can have those sessions as well, and they all work side by side. But the fact that I'm lucky enough to have a job where I can have access to a facility like that, I just think it's incredible. So I'm so grateful.
Our second award tonight is for Supporter of the Year Control and recognises the incredible support shown to the charity by those who work in control rooms across the UK. To introduce our nominees and announce our winner, I'm delighted to welcome Britain's most decorated female Olympian. Boasting 5 Olympic rowing gold medals and 4 Olympic silver medals, she's also the first British woman to win medals at 5 successive Olympic Games. Ladies and gents, please welcome Dame Catherine Granger.
Good evening everyone, and what an absolute privilege to be with you tonight to announce the nominees and also the winner of the Supporter of the Year Control Room Staff Award as part of the Firefighters Charity Spirit of Fire Awards. It is such an important time this year more than ever that we stop, acknowledge and celebrate some really fantastic achievements. Clearly the courage and the bravery of the firefighters themselves, but also the wonderful and invaluable contributions given by supporters. So it is honestly my genuine pleasure to be playing a tiny little part in tonight's celebrations. But on to the nominees for the Spirit of Fire Supporter of the Year Control Room Staff Award. The nominees are Linda Coughlin from Scottish Fire and Rescue Service. Born to a firefighter father, Linda has been raising money for the charity since she was old enough to hold a collection tin. Today, having worked her way up the ranks at Strathclyde Fire Brigade Control, she is central to fundraising across her region, taking on numerous roles and dedicating untold hours to supporting the charity. Nikki Haxton from Kent Fire and Rescue Service. Nikki's firefighter husband Danny tragically died on duty in London in 2017. Since then, Nikki has honoured his memory and been an inspiration to her children and colleagues by taking on numerous challenges and organising events to raise money for the charity. Paul Watts from Royal Berkshire Fire and Rescue Service. Paul has supported the charity for over 20 years and today runs 2 tuck shops, that's 2, at Royal Berkshire HQ, dedicating his own time to purchasing stock, organising the shops, sorting out all the money and encouraging his colleagues to support the charity. And last but not least, Kat Frost from Shropshire Fire and Rescue Service. Kat has taken part in a number of high-profile fundraising events for the charity, including the London Marathon, in which she raised over £5,000. She was also an integral part of the team that produced the Fire Tones charity single in 2018, as well as that which organised the first charity ball to be held in Shropshire in 2018. And I am delighted to reveal that the winner of the 2020 Spirit of Fire Supporter of the Year Control Room Staff Award is... waiting for the drum roll... Linda Coughlin. Huge congratulations, Linda. Hope you enjoy the award and enjoy what possibly socially restricted celebrations are allowed this year. It is very well deserved, and keep up the fantastic work.
Congratulations, Linda. Next up, we have a film with ex-RAF firefighter Mark Latham, illustrating how the charity's support extends beyond the fire and rescue services, as well as how it supported him with his mental health.
My name is Mark Latham. I'm a firefighter at the US Air Force Base in RAF Crowton, ex-Royal Air Force firefighter. With mental health in the firefighting environment, we are exposed to things that will lead to mental ill health, whether it's in the job or outside the job. The stigma years ago is dissolving, but I think that people put a face on with mental health, and with the face that they don't want people to worry about them. So you'll come to work, and with the firefighters, we are like a brotherhood. We are very, very close with the job that we do. You don't want people worrying about you. It feels like you put in a brave face on things, but then on your time off, you can very, very quickly deteriorate and go downhill and fall into a dark place. As an RAF firefighter, I didn't even know I was entitled to use the services. I've always known the firefighters charity was there, but I didn't believe that serving for the MOD as a RAF firefighter, I wasn't aware until I'd spoken to someone that used the services, and that prompted me to get in touch with the charity. And the minute I got in touch, you are then aware that someone has got your case. For a long time I'd put it off because I didn't think I was eligible or someone needed it more than me, but the minute you've submitted your application, someone's on your case and they're there to help you in any way you need. So what I would say is, please use the service sooner than later.
The award for Supporter of the Year non-uniform is up next. And to present this one, we have a versatile TV and film actor who's made us all laugh in the likes of W1A and Nativity, and kept us on the edge of our seats in The Lost Honour of Christopher Jeffries, as Harold Wilson in The Crown, and most recently alongside David Tennant in Des. Over to you, Jason Watkins.
Good evening, everyone. I am delighted to be allowed to present the Spirit of Fire Non-Uniform Supporter of the Year award. I myself have been unsinged by fire, I'm happy to say. Apart from in Greece on holiday, I fought a forest fire with my step-uncle on a small Greek island. A forest fire was about to engulf his farm. So we managed, along with some firefighters and some other helpers, to save his farm. It involved cutting trenches and using a hose that we used for the farming, and also to avoid the seaplanes as they dropped the water on the fire. All I can say is I remember that the fire seemed to move very slowly, but of course that seems slow, but over time it's very fast, and it was very frightening. So my admiration is always constant whenever I hear of any incident involving fire. So I'd like to commend everybody who's watching on Zoom tonight for all their work. I'm going to present the non-uniform supporter of the year, and perhaps, I could say to you now that the closest relationship sometimes that one forms in my work is with the people that are not in front of the camera. Even cameramen, actually, you can have great sort of relationships with the way that they work, and also your dressers and makeup artists. In fact, you start your day with your makeup artist. So there are lots of wonderful relations where they're not necessarily seen by the public. It's up to us to take all the glory and the accolades, if you like. But there's so many people working behind the scenes on any project that one is involved with. So I'm delighted to both announce the nominees and the winner. So let's go through the nominees. So the first nominee is Emma Satchell from Merseyside Fire and Rescue Service. Emma was one of the founding members of this service's hugely successful fundraising committee, and leading on the organisation of events across the service. She's now chair of that committee, and she organises charity balls, Santa's Grotto, open days, bake sales, raffles and more, helping to raise almost £50,000 per year. Lynn Twite from the Norfolk Fire and Rescue Service. Lynn has organised 3 major Land Rover rally events for over the recent years to raise over £14,000 for the charity. Now, seeing how popular the 4x4s were amongst firefighters at the King's Lynn Fire Station, where she works, she took it upon herself to organise the events in her spare time. As well as raising thousands, she has also raised the profile of the charity across the whole service. Helen Crick from the Cheshire Fire and Rescue Service. As the car wash coordinator for the service, Helen worked tirelessly to ensure that every single station in the service took part in the charity event. She's also gone on to organise 2 gun dogs, scurries, events for gun dog owners that have raised well over £3,000 and now heads up Cheshire's highly effective fundraising committee. And the last nominee is Robin Hall from the Cambridgeshire Fire and Rescue Service. Robin is central to the service's fundraising success, especially with the National Car Wash competition. She encourages stations to take part in a range of events and promotes the charity widely through communications across the service and to the public. So those are the nominees, and I'm delighted to reveal that the winner of the 2020 Spirit of Fire Non-Uniform Supporter of the Year Award is Emma Satchell. You're probably all clapping now across Zoom. Congratulations, Emma. And what an amazing job you've done. I think initiative is one of the biggest things that's is so important. And anyway, congratulations. And thank you so much for having me on what is a very, very special night. Thank you.
Huge congratulations, Emma. Well done. Our next film gives us an insight into the work of the Firefighters Charities welfare team, as former firefighter Alistair McNabb tells us how he was helped after hitting rock bottom.
My name's Alistair McNabb. I've been in Scottish Fire and Rescue for 28 years now. I've been battling depression over the years, and the last 3 years I've started suffering with arthritis to the neck and the hips. After I'd went off sick, after the 6 months I had to give up my flat financially wise. So I was living in a summer house at the bottom of my mum's garden. One day when I tried to take my own life going to work, and that's when I sought help from the charity. Initially it was to go to Penrith. It was for psychological and physiotherapy side of things. At that time I was in the summer house Carrie had mentioned about going to like say the local housing and to see you getting a property. And I'd said at the time, well, if I got a property just now, there's no way I could afford to furnish it or anything like that. And that's when it was suggested that they can help. I went back to work in the January and I got the property. That's when Carrie had sent like vouchers for Argos and Asda, and they gave me a small amount of money for a couch and stuff for the flat. A wee bit sort of tearful, but it's more just thinking back as to how it could have been. My wee grandson, he can come round and it's somewhere, let's say, for him to be. So, looking forward to it. Because of the charity, it had helped me get to a place where I was fit enough for work, both physically and mentally. I would have liked to have said I went my full career or my full life without using it, but I did. I had to use it. I couldn't be any more thankful for that.
Presenting the next award for our Retired Supporter of the Year is a comedy actor, perhaps most familiar to fans of The Fast Show as Dave Angel, eco-warrior and competitive dad. Recently starring in BBC One sitcom King Gary, it's a pleasure to welcome Simon Day.
Good evening, everybody. I hope you're all well. My name's Simon Day. I was in The Fast Show many years ago, and I'm very pleased tonight. I've been asked to be part of the Firefighter Charity Spirit of Fire Awards, and I've been given the honour of announcing the winner of the Supporter of the Year Retired Award. They want me to give you an anecdote here about fire service. All I can come up with is I knew a bloke in the 90s who worked in the office somewhere and they couldn't fire him because the union was too strong. So, that's good, isn't it? Okay, here's the nominees for the 2020 Spirit of Fire Retired Supporter of the Year. I've been retired for a while myself. Here we go. First of all, Alan Gibson, formerly of County Durham and Darlington Fire and Rescue Service. Number 2, Joe Harkins, now retired from Strathclyde and Scottish Fire and Rescue Services. Number 3, Violet Davidson, a former member of support staff for Scottish Fire and Rescue Service. And last but not least, Michelle Carter, formerly of Cambridgeshire Fire and Rescue Service. So they're the nominees, and I'm delighted to say that the winner of the 2020 Spirit of Fire Retired Supporter of the Year is your year, my year, this year. It's been a terrible year. Not for this lady, Michelle Carter. Whee! Well done, Michelle. Very, very pleased for you. You've done a lot of keep fit, raised thousands and thousands of pounds, and you've put every penny towards the charity. If you've got grandchildren, I must be furious with you. That's the way it goes, kids. Go and earn your own money. Anyway, thanks very much indeed. Have a great night, all of you. You're lovely people. You know, my mum was a nurse and we should sort all our services. That's all I've got to say. Good night.
Well done, Michelle. Congratulations. Now, during lockdown, the importance of family has been brought home to us all, and I think we've all held on a little bit tighter to those closest to us. Our next film features Shona, Dave and their children, and explores how the charity has helped them to spend valuable time together as a family.
Our daughter, Isla, who is 5, was born with complex medical problems. We were told when she was born that they would get better, but unfortunately things got worse and more problems cropped up. Isla is tube fed. She spends a lot of time in hospital. She's on a lot of medications. She's a wide range of complex problems, and now we've got potential autism as well.
I got to the point when Isla was in hospital where I didn't give up, but I couldn't achieve supporting my family. I couldn't do everything for my family, and I just, it was heartbreaking. I didn't want to turn to anyone. I had nobody to turn to. I couldn't think of anyone, friends or family that I could talk to. And it was someone in the fire service that contacted the Firefighters charity and told them what situation I was in. because I want to fund them myself. I honestly wouldn't have thought of funding the Firefighters charity for help.
Charity is for anybody related to a firefighter. It doesn't matter if it's not directly that firefighter, it's a partner or one of their children. They are there for everybody. They are there as for that family unit. Firefighters do a really tough job, and their unit and their family life will impact on their job. So for the charity to recognise that and support the family as a whole then impacts on the firefighters doing their jobs. And I think if someone does know somebody who is struggling, then even if it's not directly that firefighter, it is alright to seek that help.
And what does Daddy do for a job?
Firefighter.
We've got 4 more inspirational young people up next, as it's time for our Young Supporter of the Year award. To present this one, we welcome CBeebies presenter Maddie Moat and BBC science expert Greg Foote.
Hello, I'm Maddie.
And I'm Greg.
And we're here today to announce the nominees and the winner of a very special award, the Spirit of Fire Young Supporter of the Year award.
Yeah, this is for anyone who is aged 18 or under, who has shown incredible support of the Firefighters charity. So it's a real pleasure for us to be here to share this moment with you.
The nominees are 8-year-old Katie Key from Scotland. Katie's father is a volunteer for the Firefighters charity, and she has always followed in his footsteps, giving up her time to support all kinds of fundraising events in all kinds of ways, and always with bags of enthusiasm and energy.
Next up, we've got 17-year-old Abby Winsharp from Durham Cadet Group. Abby has been fundraising for the charity for 5 years, helping out at open days before she became a cadet at 14. Since then, she's inspired other cadets to fundraise through a host of great events and has even completed the Junior Great North Run.
Our next nominee is 11-year-old Michael Bottomley from Leeds. After moving to a new secondary school, Michael befriended firefighters at the station next door. Taking them biscuits and getting to know them, he began to fundraise and has since organised auctions and raffles, reaching out to local businesses to source prizes. He's also run a stall at his school's Christmas fair, and he raised well over £2,000.
Last up, 13-year-old Tom Goodall from West Yorkshire. Both Tom's parents work for West Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service, and over the past 7 years he has given up his free time to design posters and flyers to support fundraising events, and has thrown his energy into car washes, bonfire nights, galas, car boot sales, the lot.
So, we are delighted to reveal that the winner of the 2020 Spirit of Fire Young Supporter of the Year award is...
Drumroll.
Michael Bottomley!
Hey! Huge congratulations, Michael. Nice one.
To all of you watching, enjoy the rest of the award ceremony.
Bye.
A round of applause to you, Michael. Really well done. It's been a strange year. And, like a lot of charities, the Firefighters charity has not been able to raise as much money this year as usual because so many of its traditional fundraising events, like marathons and bike rides, have been cancelled or postponed. So they've come up with a way for everyone to fundraise from home and stay safe. It's called the Fire Family Challenge, and it's really simple. Basically, whatever age you are and wherever you are in the country, you can challenge yourself, your family bubble, your friends online, or whoever else you want to do something special. It could be to see how many laps of the garden you can run in an hour, or it could be a skipping challenge, a painting, crochet or knitting challenge, a sponsored dance-off, a family quiz, an extreme haircut or an extreme makeup challenge. It could be a 1,000-piece jigsaw in a day, a keepy-uppy challenge, a floor is lava challenge, a garden obstacle course, a baked bean eating with a toothpick challenge, a sponsored silence, a Nerf target challenge, a sponsored car wash, or even a sponsored bedroom tidy. The challenge is completely up to you. All you need to do is ask a grown-up to help you and go to the Firefighters Charity website at firefighters.charity.org.uk/Fire Family Challenge to register your challenge. By taking part in the Fire Family Challenge and raising money, you'll be helping firefighters across the country to get help when they need it. Firefighting can be a very tough job, and the Firefighters Charity exists to help firefighters who may be injured or who might need some support with how they're feeling. So for every challenge you complete and every penny you raise, you'll help a firefighter to get the support they need so that they can get back to their jobs looking after us all when we have to dial 999. So good luck with your challenges and have fun! Next, we take a closer look at the important role that the charity's corporate supporters play, not only in helping to fundraise, but in the case of Autoglym, helping to keep the nation's cars clean during the charity's annual car wash competition.
Autoglym is a 54-year-old business based in the UK which manufactures its products for distribution around the globe. Its purpose is to make sure that people have the most effective products they can use to maintain their vehicles. Autoglym likes to support the Firefighters Charity by providing product at all of their stations around the country so they can carry out their twice yearly charity car washes. We also provide support and information for the people doing the job to make sure they do the best job they can. Autoglym chooses to support the Firefighters Charity from a whole variety of aspects. I guess the most important one is that we're very lucky that we don't need to call on the emergency service on a regular basis. But when we do, we want to know that the people who are coming towards us are in the right frame of mind. So from our perspective, supporting a charity that supports the members of the firefighting service is absolutely the right thing to do. The winners of the firefighter competition, which is to raise the most amount of money on an annual basis, come with us to a British Touring Car Championship round and have a VIP experience. So not only do we try and give them the tools, but we try and give them the incentive as well to do a really good job. The activity around the car wash events is a wonderful engagement piece. We can get our franchisees to go and visit all of the fire stations and to work with them on a local basis. It's a great opportunity for the firefighters to engage with the public, so it seems to work for everyone.
So to announce the winner of the Spirit of Fire Corporate Supporter of the Year, please welcome back Chair of the Firefighters Charity's Board of Trustees, Andrew Lynch.
Hello, I'm Andrew Lynch, Chair of the Firefighters Charity Board of Trustees, and I'm delighted to announce the nominees for the Corporate Supporter of the Year. Before I do so, however, I'd just like to reiterate how important it is for us that organisations, such as those nominated today, get behind us, help us to raise vital funds, and help to raise awareness of the charity across their businesses and local communities. Also, by helping us, they're helping their local fire and rescue services and firefighters to get the support they need, which in turn also helps to keep the local communities in which their businesses operate safe. So I like to think that the support of our corporate partners is a win-win for everyone. And the nominees for the Spirit of Fire Corporate Supporter of the Year award are the Ivy Spinning Fields, Manchester. Fire ravaged the third floor of the newly opened restaurant in January 2019, but Greater Manchester Fire and Rescue Service crews stopped it spreading to the lower floors, meaning it could open the next day. As a thank you, the Ivy held a relaunch event in aid of the charity and raised £47,000. D. Robinson & Co. Limited. The leading textile recycling partner for the charity, D. Robinson & Co. have generated well over a staggering £4 million over 11 years through the management of a nationwide consortium of recycling partners. That's a huge amount of the nation's unwanted clothing also saved from landfill. The Co-op, Danny Howarth and Shane Reeves. On-call firefighter Shane works for both Derbyshire Fire and Rescue Service and the Co-op. First choosing the Firefighters Charity as Charity of the Year at his own store, Shane went on to work with Regional Operations Manager Danny Howarth to persuade 29 other managers to follow suit. Together, the Co-op stores have since raised over £45,000 for the charity. Asprey, a national insurance loss assessor company. Asprey is familiar with the devastation that can be left following a fire. Keen to give something back to the firefighters who work in those situations, the company has agreed a 2-year partnership with the charity and run a host of fundraising events, from firefighter experience days to raffles, auctions, car washes and marathons. And I'm delighted to reveal that the winners of the 2020 Spirit of Fire Corporate Supporter of the Year award are the Co-op, Danny Howarth and Shane Reeves, and many, many congratulations to you both. Thank you very much.
The Firefighters charity employs almost 200 people, all of whom do all they can to support the fire services community in their roles. However, some of its employees also go that little bit further and become volunteer fundraisers themselves. So our next award is a special recognition award for volunteer fundraising by an employee. And to introduce this one, I'm delighted to welcome Gogglebox regular, BBC Radio 2 presenter, journalist and Church of England minister, the Reverend Kate Botley.
Hello, I'm the Reverend Kate Botley, and I am so happy to be a part of this fantastic evening of celebration and to be given the honour of announcing the winner of a special recognition award for the Firefighters Charity's Employee of the Year. The winner of tonight's special recognition award, and I've been given some amazing background information on the recipient to paint a beautiful picture of exactly why he's been chosen. Our winner has worked for the charity for 12 and a half years. And since 2015, he's completed 20 challenges to raise money for the charity, all in full fire kit, including breathing apparatus. These have included climbing Ben Nevis and Snowdon, 3 half marathons, 1 full marathon, and a 75-mile point-to-point run over 3 days. I'm exhausted just reading it. He did all this under the anonymous persona of the Flame, his face hidden behind a mirrored visor like a superhero. As well as raising almost £6,500, the Flame raised awareness of the charity at every step, with numerous press articles bringing the charity to the attention of a new audience. His colleagues across the charity had no idea it was him taking part on the challenges and raising the money until he completed them all and revealed his secret identity, just like a superhero. Described by his colleagues as selfless, modest and dedicated, with a wicked sense of humour and a penchant for dad jokes. Our winner is passionate about doing whatever he can in his role and in his spare time to support the fire services community. So I am absolutely delighted to announce that the winner of the 2020 Spirit of Fire Special Recognition Award for Employee of the Year is, of course, Mr. Kevin the Flame Biles. Congratulations, Kev. Woo! You're amazing. Oh, you make me exhausted just reading this. I hope you're delighted with your well-deserved award and celebrate in style. Much love.
Congratulations, Kev, or should I say, the Flame? The charity's nursing team at its Jubilee House Centre was awarded an outstanding rating by the Care Quality Commission earlier this year. So our next film takes a look at the incredible work that they do.
The nursing team's based at Jubilee House and we provide a 24-hour nursing service for our beneficiaries who need nursing support. Any of our beneficiaries who need any assistance with their personal care, for example, so showering, washing, dressing, we can provide support with medication, we can provide support with mobility, that might be with wheelchairs or using hoists.
I'm Nina and I'm here at Jubilee House because I had an accident. I've come here to gain a bit of confidence and strength in my leg. I've done lots in the hydro pool and in an anti-gravity walker which was fantastic because I could leave my crutches and walk. You were able to come and watch me do that, weren't you?
Yeah, fantastic experience, especially for me. That's the first time in a year. I was struggling to hold it together because I can see her walking and the smile on her face.
It's showing me that my leg is stronger than I think it is, so I'm much more confident now that it's not going to collapse under me.
In 2014, I had a stroke and I lost the use of my left side. That's what the staff do here. They come down just before your meal at evening or morning, and they'll get your medication out. And it's the hardest week you can think to have, because you're so involved from day one. You never stop. You're involved. But the staff are fantastic.
So I think it's important that the charity has a nursing provision, because there are so many of our beneficiaries with complex needs, beneficiaries with long-term conditions, beneficiaries with life-changing injuries, and without the nursing provision here up at Jubilee House, those beneficiaries wouldn't be able to access the fantastic services that we offer.
Now, our next award is for Dependant Supporter of the Year, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to our second Dame of the evening, a British institution and winner of 4 BAFTAs, 2 British Academy Film Awards, 2 Emmys, a Golden Globe and a BAFTA Fellowship. She's captured our hearts in Educating Rita, Billy Elliot, Calendar Girls, Harry Potter, Paddington and countless other movies and TV shows. Ladies and gentlemen, Dame Julie Walters.
Hello everybody. I was so delighted to be asked by the Firefighters charity to be here this evening to announce the nominees and of course the winner of the Spirit of Fire Supporter of the Year Dependant Award. So here we go with the nominees. Shona Mellon, partner to Dave Shaw, a firefighter with West Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service. Julie Monroe, married to a London Fire Brigade group manager. Louise Moody, partner to Crew Commander Josh Matthews of Bedfordshire Fire and Rescue Service. Laura Moore, married to Cheshire Fire and Rescue Service crew manager Ian Moore. And I'm delighted to announce that the winner of the 2020 Spirit of Fire Supporter of the Year Dependant Award goes to, bit of a drum roll everybody, wait for it, the winner is Louise Moody. Go gal, fantastic.
And congratulations, Louise. Well done to you. Next up, the charity wouldn't be able to function without the tireless support of its volunteers, an army of dedicated individuals across the UK who routinely do all they can to fundraise and raise awareness, as our next film from Christmas last year shows.
It first started 6 years ago, where we've done the car washes, we've done the charity curry nights, we've done the car boot sales. We just wanted something different, but we couldn't put a finger on what to do. And then one day we're in the canteen having a dinner, and we're just talking where we're going this weekend. And one of the lads said, well, he's going to Birmingham Christmas Market, somebody else is going to Liverpool Christmas Market, somebody else is going to Manchester. And all of a sudden we thought, well, we're all going to Christmas markets in other towns. Why don't people come to the Stokey Christmas Market? And the reason people don't come to the Stokey Christmas Market is because we haven't got one. So it started as a bit of a joke, and it's just grown and grown. And the amount of people who come here today warrant that we've got it right. So it's just one of these ludicrous ideas, what has come really good for us, and raising a considerable amount of money for the Firefighters charity.
So without volunteers, we would just not be able to get the kind of reach that we do. We don't get that local intelligence, which enables us to put on good events. So we couldn't work without them. Today's event is an event that's on the calendar every year. It's really well attended. It takes months and months of planning. So massive thank you to Kelvin and his team.
Firefighters are here to support the local community, and the Firefighters charity support the firefighters which help the local community. So it's a great big ball really. One charity helps other ones, and if one of that segment is removed, the ball doesn't bounce as good.
Merry Christmas! As we saw in that last film, the public play an important role in helping to fundraise for the charity. And our next award for Public Supporter of the Year recognises those members of the public who have done something extraordinary for the Firefighters charity. To present it, it's fantastic to welcome someone who does something extraordinary herself every morning when she shares a desk with Piers Morgan. It's Good Morning Britain presenter Susanna Reid.
Hello everybody, it's great to be with you for the Firefighters charity's Spirit of Fire Awards, and to have been asked to announce the nominees and very deserving winner for the Public Supporter of the Year award. So, the nominees for the 2020 Spirit of Fire Public Supporter of the Year award are Carol Lord from Greater Manchester, who passionately promotes positive mental health amongst the fire community, and who swam the 22-mile length of Loch Lomond in 19 hours and 32 minutes to raise almost £3,000. Mary Norher Kennedy from Northern Ireland. Mary tragically lost her 18-year-old son Shane following a road traffic collision in 2009. However, she has never forgotten the actions of firefighters at the scene that day, and last year organised a 5-kilometre fun run event which raised £8,665 for the Firefighters charity. Emma Hughes from Greater Manchester, whose father was a firefighter, has been a tireless supporter of the charity, raising money and promoting its work by running a community group for newly retired fire and rescue service personnel. And Joanne Stovell from Derbyshire, an incredible ambassador who has pledged to leave half her estate to the charity as a thank you for the support it gave to her father Bob following a motorbike crash which tragically killed her mother. Well, all phenomenal individuals. But the winner of the 2020 Spirit of Fire Public Supporter of the Year award is Emma Hughes. Emma, huge congratulations. You're absolutely marvellous.
Congratulations, Emma. In our next film, we meet retired firefighter Brian from South Wales, who's found a new form of friendship through a local Living Well group set up by the charity, an initiative that sees similar groups meeting in person and virtually across the UK.
I joined the fire service September the 1st, 1965. Served in a number of stations and finally retired 2nd December 1993. The fire service was like a family. Everybody was together. It bonded friendship. Unfortunately, my wife passed away this year on March the 6th, very suddenly. They put it down to a cardiac arrest in the home. I found her in myself. You get your good moments and your bad moments, sort of thing.
Our Living Well groups are a new initiative where we go out into the community and basically reconnect with our retired beneficiaries who maybe don't have any contact with us or with the fire and rescue service anymore. The main idea is that they come and have a lovely chat and they make new friends and they reconnect with old friends, but also that they learn about what's going on in their community, they learn about what the charity can do for them.
The group that are there today in Aberdeen, I knew quite a lot of them quite well. I'll actually work with quite a lot of them. They keep in touch and you're looking after each other in many ways in such a saying, well, you getting all right, Brian? Yes, I'm okay, thank you. It's a good get together which something to look forward to every month.
The next award of the evening celebrates the incredible bravery and courage that many of our beneficiaries show when facing life-changing personal adversity. Presenting the Beneficiary of Courage Award, a versatile TV and radio presenter who is as much at home presenting crufts as she is presenting the Olympics, Paralympics and Royal Ascot. Ladies and gentlemen, Claire Balding.
Hi everyone, it's Claire Balding here and I'm just delighted to be able to join you at the Firefighters Charities Spirit of Fire Awards and indeed to present this special Beneficiary of Courage Award. Now, I know a few of you individually, but specifically I do know one of your dogs because that's Sherlock on the back of my book, Heroic Animals, because I wanted to pay tribute to the dogs that work within the fire service, finding accelerants, working out whether a fire's been deliberately started or not. But this award is not about animals, it's about people. And so many of you, all of you, give more than just your time. You give your lives, you give your commitments, you give your passion, your energy towards your jobs. And you make such a difference to those around you, not just those that you might be saving from a fire, comforting after a fire, but also to your teammates, to your colleagues. And having read through the nominations for this award, I'm so impressed and moved and touched by what you have faced and what you have come through. So congratulations to an inspirational group of nominees. And I'm delighted to tell you about those nominees. So these are those who've made the shortlist for the Spirit of Fire Beneficiary of Courage Award. First up, we have Alistair McNabb from Scottish Fire and Rescue. Suffering with chronic pain, Alistair's mental health declined to the point where he tried to take his own life. After also becoming homeless, he reached out for help. And today, with the charity's support, he has turned his life around, moving into a new home last year. Bob Stovall, formerly of Derbyshire Fire and Rescue Service. 9 years ago, Bob was involved in a catastrophic motorbike accident that killed his wife and left him fighting for his own life. Literally pieced back together by surgeons, he has defied the odds to walk again and has been supported regularly by the charity in his extraordinary rehabilitation. And finally, Paul Weller, formerly of West Sussex Fire and Rescue Service. Paul had to be talked down from Beachy Head by police after his life, as he saw it, had hit rock bottom. However, he bravely sought psychological support from the charity, and today he is a dedicated fundraiser and advocate, encouraging others to recognise their own mental health needs. Three incredible individuals who have all overcome so much, and I'd like to pay them all tribute and thank them for everything that they have done. Really difficult to pick a winner from those three. But the winner of the 2020 Spirit of Fire Beneficiary of Courage Award is Bob Stovall. Bob, many congratulations. I just know from reading the nomination reason and some of the background to your story how much you have overcome since that motorbike accident 9 years ago and how brave you've been. And I just want to personally pay tribute to your courage and to thank you for all of the hope I think you give others and for everything that you have fought through. And it takes an awful lot. It takes an awful lot to get to the position that you are in now. So, you know, that is true bravery. That is true heroism. So thank you and congratulations.
As we've been hearing all evening, the charity's supporters have undertaken some incredible feats to raise money and awareness. Our next film therefore illustrates just how far and how high those in the fire services community are prepared to go in regards to raising as much as they can for the Firefighters charity.
Namaste. Namaste. Namaste.
So my team highlight is that 14 firefighters set out to get to Everest Base Camp to raise as much money as we could. We didn't put a total on it for the Firefighters charity, and the team achieved that.
For me, my personal highlight was the whole team getting there. We set off being told by our tour guides that 2, maybe 3 may not make it. just due to the altitude, how punishing it was going to be on our bodies.
We've raised around £20,000 for the Firefighters charity. We all know people who have suffered in the fire service from either mental illness or physical illness, or their dependents or family. So if we can do that little bit to help someone to make that life that little bit better, that I think is the driving factor for every one of us. You have a look around you and it's about the men next to you. Just keep going as one strong team, one strong unit.
Having that sort of goal in mind that we're raising money for the charity as well gave us a good push so that we could get there, get the banner to base camp and get the photo that we needed to get.
I've been a watch manager for 17 years now, and I've seen the benefits of the Firefighters charity. So there are definitely firefighters on my watch and past watches that wouldn't be employed in the fire service and definitely wouldn't be back on duty as quick as they did without the support from the Firefighters charity.
And you never know, it could be you, it could be me one day. So it's almost an insurance policy as well. Help your friends, look after your colleagues.
Challenges like climbing Everest inevitably require teamwork, and our next award for Team of the Year recognises exactly that. To present it, we welcome our furthest flung presenter of the evening, all the way from Melbourne, Australia. It's comedian and presenter of Channel 4's The Last Leg, Adam Hills.
Hello from Melbourne, Australia, where we have gone into a second lockdown, or as I like to call it, Lockdown 2 Deja Flu. I'm Adam Hills, and I'm genuinely chuffed to be presenting this award. This one is the 2020 Spirit of Fire Team of the Year Award. Now, being Australian, we have a very close relationship with the fire brigades, especially in bushfire season. But for me, I have a different relationship because many years ago when I started out in comedy, I used to have a little routine on stage where I would bring someone out of the crowd, get them up on stage, get them to yell their name to the audience so they felt like a bit of a rock star, and the audience would yell their names back. And one year, I grabbed this guy out of the audience, and he was a fireman. And so I said, well, you deserve a round of applause more than most. I want you to shout your name and the audience will shout it back. For some reason, this guy thought my idea wasn't funny enough. So he yelled the phrase, "Go, you big red fire engine." And the audience shouted it back. And then he kept shouting it and they kept shouting it, and kind of became a catchphrase for the show. And at the end of that particular show, I said, right, I'm going to call my next show, "Go, you big red fire engine," which I did. And then it became my catchphrase. And it was quoted in Australian Parliament. It was printed in newspapers around the world. People still shouted at me on the street. So I then used "Go, you big red fire engine" a couple of times to raise money for various fire services around the world. So it's kind of weirdly become my thing. So in the spirit of "Go, you big red fire engine," let's get on to these awards, which, as I said, are the 2020 Spirit of Fire Team of the Year Awards. Now, the nominees are: number 1, Team Noble, Scottish Fire and Rescue. Now, they're otherwise known as Chris and Blair Elliott. The brothers took part in an epic 3,000-mile, 55-day endurance rowing race across the Atlantic Ocean to raise money for the charity in memory of Chris's colleague at Scottish Fire and Rescue, John Noble. It's an incredible effort. The Merseyside Fire and Rescue Service Fundraising Committee. Now, in just a few years, the committee has, through sheer hard work and dedication, transformed Merseyside into one of the most effective and well-run fundraising and awareness-raising services in the UK. The next nominee is A21 Run for Grenfell, Paddington Red Watch, London Fire Brigade. The 2018 London Marathon was one of the hottest on record, but Paddington Red Watch ran it in full kit, including breathing apparatus, to raise over £52,000 for the charity. And your final nominee, Littleport Fire Station in Cambridgeshire, which has been fundraising for the charity for the last 40 years. Crews have gone to extraordinary lengths, supported by the local community, to organise numerous events each year. This is a feat all the more remarkable given that Littleport is a retained station. So, those are the nominees. I am all dressed up in my finest, although I am wearing tracksuit pants. The winner of the 2020 Spirit of Fire Team of the Year Award is the Merseyside Fire and Rescue Service Fundraising Committee. Congratulations, enjoy whatever virtual party you are having, and genuinely, absolutely chuffed to have been a part of this.
Well done, Merseyside. Congratulations to you all. And, as you've just shown us, a close relationship between fire and rescue services and the Firefighters charity is vital to both ensuring those who work for our fire and rescue services know how the charity can help them and encouraging those same people to donate and fundraise. Our next film looks at this a little closer.
From the time they join the Fire and Rescue Service, they are beneficiaries. If they are within the Fire and Rescue Service for 5 years, then they are lifetime beneficiaries, as are their dependents lifetime beneficiaries. So it's a really good offer, and it is unique.
The work the charity does absolutely supports fire and rescue services and their staff. It enables us to be able to provide a different type of support and care for people in some of the difficult times of their life. Certainly the Firefighters charity, particularly with rehabilitation, gives some superb treatment and care to be able to get people back into the workplace at an earlier point. That, coupled with occupational health management, physiotherapy or psychological therapies that are offered in-house, gives that great balance. One thing I would say about the charity is that it exists in that middle ground, so for some people who may be having difficulties in the workplace, may not be able to access health through the National Health Service at a speedy enough rate, the charity is able to offer a swift and very effective intervention.
It's really important that Beneficiary of Fire and Rescue Service has a strong relationship with the Firefighters charity, and that's for a number of different reasons. Primarily, of course, the charity provides important support services to our firefighters, which is part of their welfare, and that's very, very important to me. Also, of course, it helps them to recover more quickly, which means they're back to work more quickly, which is also better for our service. But I think the activities that firefighters undertake in order to support their colleagues that need that help through fundraising and all sorts of charitable events, I think is quite good for the motivation and morale of the service as well.
After that, it seems only fitting to move on to our next award, Supporter of the Year Fire and Rescue Service. And to announce this one, I'm honoured to introduce a true rock and roll legend, a singer, songwriter, legendary guitar player and astrophysicist. He is, of course, best known for being one quarter of Queen. It's over to you, Mr. Brian May.
Hi folks, I'm Brian May. On behalf of the Firefighters charity, this is the Spirit of Fire Award for the Fire and Rescue of the Year. Now, I had occasion to meet some of the firefighters in a very particular situation where my own life and property was threatened, and it was a very inspiring meeting up on the golf course at Sunningdale. And if the wind had been different and the situation had been just a little different, my whole life would have gone up in flames. So I owe a huge amount to the wonderful firefighters who worked night and day in much longer shifts than they should have been called on to work, to keep all our lives and properties safe, and also to save a lot of wild animals. So it gives me particular pleasure to present this award. The nominees for the Spirit of Fire Award for the Fire and Rescue Service of the Year are the London Fire Brigade, the Scottish Fire and Rescue Service, the Lancashire Fire and Rescue Service, the Merseyside Fire and Rescue Service, and the winners of the Spirit of Fire Award for the Fire and Rescue Service of the Year are the Lancashire Fire and Rescue Service. It gives me great pleasure to offer my congratulations to you guys. You do a wonderful job, and not many people realise what an incredible commitment your life is. So I will be continuing to campaign for a little bit more recognition and a little bit more help in so many ways from the community for the work that you do. Congratulations, congratulations, Lancashire lads. We love you. Lancashire lads and lasses, I should say. God bless you.
Congratulations, Lancashire. And now, following her well-deserved Special Recognition Award for Excellence in the Field of Mental Health, our next film features London Fire Brigade's Shilla Patel talking about her own mental health struggles and how time with the charity helped.
I'm very proud to be in the London Fire Brigade. As I said, been here for 15 years and I can't see myself working anywhere else. What I enjoy is the family approach. We all support each other. I want to work in a job where you are making a difference and working with the community, engaging with London and diverse communities. So in terms of my own mental health, I've lived with anxiety and depression pretty much all my life. And for many years, as I said, I've been here 15 years. For 14 of those years, I was never open about my own mental health. And even as inclusion manager, I was telling other people they needed to be brave, they needed to be open and honest. But I continued to wear my many different masks up until I met the Firefighter charity, and then I became a lot more open about my own mental health and was able to be open and honest. And I think one of the things that led to that was our own commissioner, Danny Cotton, being open about her mental health after the Grenfell incident, and it inspired me and empowered me to have a voice and talk about my own mental health. I was very surprised actually how easy the application process was to call the Firefighters charity. I spoke to a counsellor. We had a chat for about half an hour about some of my issues and problems, how it was impacting on my work life and my personal life. They rang me back and said, we've got a place for you. I expected it to take a few weeks, maybe a month, but it was very, very quick. The contrast between Devon and London is huge, and for me it's the peace, it's the serenity, it's the beautiful landscapes, the wildlife, and just being able to jump off at the side of the world and take some time out for yourself, which is really key. And I'd encourage anybody to do exactly the same.
Our penultimate award of the evening is for Supporter of the Year, Firefighter. And, as its name suggests, it recognises individual firefighters who have gone over and above the call of duty in their support of the Firefighters charity. To present it, we welcome a legend of the beautiful game who grew up on the Grenfell Tower estate in West London and in 2017 organised a charity match to support families affected by the fire. Former Spurs, Newcastle United, West Ham, QPR and England striker, and now Director of Football at QPR, it is of course Les Ferdinand.
First and foremost, I want to thank all the firefighters out there for the incredible work they do for this nation. We as a club saw it at great lengths and close to hand when we had the Grenfell fire, which is in our community, and we saw how diligent and how professional that these guys went to work and what they did, and it was really touching for us as a club, as a community, and I say a club, a community, but as a nation, to see our firefighters come and do what they did, and I know the impact it had on them. A load of the firefighters who had to go in for mental health issues and stuff like that after witnessing what they'd witnessed. Sometimes we see these people go to work and do their job and probably not get the recognition they deserve at times, and it was great for us to see them do what they did, and we managed to put on a game for Grenfell at the time, which was an important time for the community. And I think there's not a person who came to the game, and it was one of the first times being at Loftus Road that we had a full house, so I remember it well. And I think on the day it was fantastic, and we had a load of celebrities and so-called stars put their name to wanting to play, and they turned up, but I think there wasn't a person in the house that on the day that when the firefighters took to the field and took part in the game, everybody in the stadium stood up and applauded them, because we just wanted to show how grateful we were to what they do and how they do it, and what they did for us on that occasion. Here are the nominees for the award. David Millward from Scottish Fire and Rescue Services, who has raised thousands for charity within a small community in the West Highlands of Scotland after receiving support himself following a spinal injury 18 years ago. Sam Pick from Norfolk Fire Service, who has run a car wash long distance cycling event, car boot sale, Land Rover events and countless others over 20 years, raising huge sums in the process and helping many to access support for the charity. Chris Birdsill Jones from Mid and West Wales Fire and Rescue Service, who masterminded the Fire Tones bid for the Christmas #1 in 2018 with their version of Do They Know It's Christmas. Tirelessly promoting the single on TV and radio, Chris helped raise thousands and increased awareness of the charity amongst the public. Robbie Sturrock from Scottish Fire and Rescue Services, who has led fundraising efforts at Petershead Fire Station for 20 years, organising countless successful challenge events, car washes, summer fetes and Santa sleighs, as well as driving their recycling efforts and bringing the local community together. All incredibly deserving individuals, but unfortunately can only be one winner. Chris Birdsall Jones, congratulations and well done.
So, would you believe it? We've reached our last award of the evening, and as has become tradition, we end with this, our Lifetime Achievement Award, which goes to someone who has dedicated over 30 years to supporting the Firefighters charity. To conclude presenting duties and announce our very worthy winner, I'm over the moon to introduce a stage, TV and film actor who, as a prodigiously talented character actor, has played everyone from Tony Blair, David Frost and Brian Clough to Kenneth Williams and most recently Chris Tarrant. A political activist, charity champion and proud Welshman, here's Michael Sheen to tell us more about the 2020 Spirit of Fire Lifetime Achievement winner.
Good evening. I am delighted to join you tonight and to have been asked to present the Spirit of Fire Lifetime Achievement Award. I've been doing a little bit of homework on the winner of this award, and before we see a film featuring those who know him best, I can give you a few clues as to our very deserving recipient. Firstly, he was a firefighter for 30 years, throughout which time he was always involved in supporting the Firefighters charity. He retired 15 years ago, but never let up on his fundraising work for the charity, and in fact, over that time, has been central to raising around £200,000. He knows a fair bit about fireworks, helping to arrange countless bonfire night events, raising money, and helping to keep his local community safe in the process. He has helped countless colleagues and peers to access support from the charity, and has inspired just as many to also get involved in fundraising. He even raised over £1,800 for the charity at his own 70th birthday party. So, here, with a bit more of an insight into our very worthy winner, are a few of those who know him best.
Hi, we're at Durham and Darlington Fire and Rescue Services headquarters today, doing some secret filming on behalf of Harry Binion, who's actually in the building today but doesn't know this is going on behind the scenes.
Harry does absolutely everything for the charity. Every single event that we organise as a service, he's there, he's part of the organising committee, he'll be first there on a morning, he'll be last there at night setting up. Pretty much everything we do, he's the biggest supporter that we have across the whole of the service.
Harry has been a real tremendous support to me in my role at the Firefighters charity. He helps with everything. He comes to every event, he raises masses of money. For example, instead of having a birthday party, he decided to have a charity fundraiser where he raised money for the Firefighters charity.
We had a big raffle and I think they raised about £2,000 for his birthday with all the help of his friend Alan and the other firemen.
The two of us together perform at every open day, every event. We never miss any, and we supply everything for the stations to function, really. I guess we're the quartermasters for the charity and the service.
First met Harry a number of years ago at Fire Station Open Day, because I've always wanted to be in the fire service, and got chatting to him, and since then he's motivated me and inspired me to get involved with a charity.
I think he's always has been passionate about it, and I think he's trying to get the newer generation to understand why we need to keep going, why the next generation of firefighters need to do exactly what Harry's doing.
I learned a lot from Harry, from hearing stories when he's been at open days about how it used to be, and it also made me enjoy the job more, because you get the sense of the fire service as a family, and I love being a part of that.
We speak to every apprentice's course, we speak to every recruit's course, and Harry's always there leading from the front. We tend to facilitate, so if there's a banner needed, Harry thinks nothing of going 30, 40 mile to pick up a banner, to pick up a bucket for somebody. And being firefighters and being in the service, it's always the last minute. So sometimes he gets an hour's notice to get a banner 20 mile away.
Harry now books his holidays around the Firefighters charity event. So this year his wife's really relieved because she's been able to have him for a little bit longer to do things, because we've had to stop some of the fundraising this year. But Harry, being Harry, hasn't let it stop him. He's having a party to celebrate his BEM. I'm sure he'll have a raffle going on behind the scenes, and guess where that money's going? Yes, the Firefighters charity.
I don't know, he's just a stubborn old so-and-so. And that's why he wants to do it. He's always wanted to do it. It's right the way from starting the fire brigade. They've always been a family together, and that's what they wanted to do.
I owe a lot to Harry. You know, he's supported and encouraged me throughout the recruitment process and throughout my career as a retained firefighter. And 4 years on now, he's still doing that.
I really can't think of anyone better to get the Lifetime Achievement Award than Harry Binion. He has absolutely spent his whole life, his whole fire service life, being involved with the charity, raising money, doing everything he possibly can. He's just such a deserving member to receive that award.
So, I'm absolutely delighted to announce that the winner of the 2020 Spirit of Fire Lifetime Achievement Award is former County Durham and Darlington firefighter and present-day fundraising Goliath, Harry Binion. Harry, you are genuinely a hero. That is a life well lived. Many, many congratulations to you.
That's it. We've come to the end of the 2020 Spirit of Fire Awards. But before we go, on behalf of everyone at the charity, I'd like to thank all of tonight's incredible presenters and congratulate all of our amazing nominees and winners. Indeed, I'd also like to congratulate all of the hundreds of nominees who just missed out on the shortlists, as well as the thousands who may not have been nominated, but who nevertheless deserve congratulating for their dedication and support. The Firefighters charity is only here today because of the generosity of the fire services community and the ability of its members to take action individually and come together collectively to ensure its doors remain open. So thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure to be your host. Spirit of Fire will return soon, but until then, here's a little reminder as to all that you've achieved and why it matters so much. Good night.